Brian Angel, a former infantryman from Virginia who served in the army between 2014 and 17, including a stint on the border between North and South Korea, told the BBC he wanted to see more parades, saying every branch should get a parade or some sort of recognition.
Oh, everybody wants a fucking participation medal these days. You know?
I mean, this is the thing. I'd be fine with it. I'm pro parade. I'm a parade girl. I see a good parade and I'm like, you know, whoever it is.
You subscribe to Parade magazine.
Yeah. For the love of the game. North Korea, great parades. Iran, pretty good parades. This one, shit parade. Like, you just have to say. And Trump knew it sucked. You could see him on video, like, sulking about how bad his parade was.
I hate to say it, it's the worst parade in Pride Month. I didn't think it would be, but honestly, even Austin Pride is better.
What we really needed for comment was like fucking aging British colour sergeant with swagger stick going, "You got no fucking standards with drill. That wouldn't fly on my parade ground."
That basically, we have that. It's just me, and due to woke, I'm a trans woman instead.
If we just still had all the exact same social conventions of like 1912, you would be such a good color sergeant.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So genuinely, really heartwarming compliment. just honestly, like, oh.
Good morning, men. It is 4 a.m. British time. You have been issued with one pill. Do not ask what is inside it.
Company, halt! Present estrogen! Apply! All right. Okay, we're not going to do that anymore. We actually have to talk about the serious thing. Okay. We need to talk about the serious thing we're going to talk about. The heat's driving us all
Lance
mad.
Corporal, where are your knockers? How do you expect to grow big naturals when you do not arrive on time?
Sergeant, I was only issued a cup, Sergeant.
If you turn up to company mess without your bra, sooner or later you turn up to battle without any bullets. And then how will you attack the enemy? What cushions will you lie on when prone firing position? It will be raw ribcage to earth, Private.
Stabilize the rifle.
And this is what Trump is taking away from us.
Folks, the thing is, they don't want our soldiers to have big naturals because they don't want us to be able to aim. The Chinese, they got knockers like you wouldn't believe. The size of my head, they're coming up to me, they're crying. Big naturals, they're crying. They say, "Thank you, President Trump." I say, "You're welcome."
Why is there no pleat in your yoga pants, Corporal? I do not see any cake.
Jesus Christ.
J-Lo was a pioneer.
I feel like I'm executing a puppy doing the jarring shift in tone.
Yeah. Do you want to do the bit about the cops and the sheriff shooting at each other again?
Yeah.
Just do that over.
Well, just go back to, like doing, talking about David Kilcullen coin stuff in Los Angeles.
To be clear, that happened. Like I saw this.
Russia code.
Yeah, federal tax police raiding the police station shit. I saw this as 2 tweets from like a scanner account that's like, the LASD have been approved to fire like less lethal rounds, and then a minute later, LAPD getting hit by LASD rounds. Like, gorgeous, fantastic.
You hate to see your
comedy.
friends get in an argument. You know what I mean? It's really
the girls are fighting.
The LAPD were like, "Fuck, those Australian journalists are returning fire."
I'm just saying, maybe the LAPD should have obeyed the law.
Yep.
You know, like if a deputy sheriff tells you to do something, you should do it. I'm hitting Trump there. Why am I?
They didn't expect the Channel 9 mortar team.
I'm really surprised that the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department does have a Gallipoli protocol.
Technically, if you do like a Marxist analysis, because all of this is lib shit, if you analyze this Marxistly, the LASD are serving as blocking troops, preventing the LAPD from being infected by revisionists.
Absolutely. The political officers and
getting executed by an LASD commissar.
We have those, and they're the LASD gangs, Google LASD gangs.
Yeah.
They have political officers, essentially. So that is true.
Good.
So look, Noah, you are a member of DSA LA. You've been involved in organizing against ICE kidnappings of Angelenos, essentially. And I think it's worth doing a little bit of background and table setting, right? Which is lots of protests have been going on across the United States against what is essentially the deployment of a totally politically captured enforcement arm of the state in the form of ICE directed towards minorities or people who might be immigrants or just people defending the rights of immigrants.
Which, to be clear, and sorry to jump in on this, was always ICE's deal. It's just that now they have the like MAGA hat on it as well. And it's being sort of like directed more aggressively.
It's being directed more. Yeah, it's more naked. It's harder. It's more naked and it's bigger. So the number one, and there have been lots of protests around the country that were directed at also a lot of high level constitutional issues, power grabs and stuff like this.
Sure.
The protests in LA are not so much focused on high level constitutional issues, but rather specifically on ICE kidnapping people, because Los Angeles is like almost a majority Latino city, like 46% of residents are Latino, and is a huge amount of people as well are immigrants. Like it's incredibly cosmopolitan, very heavily Latino, and it is a place that specifically Trump and Miller and the people around him want to punish and terrorize. That's, as I understand it, that's the situation.
Yeah, and then also just an added element that part of the thing that's happening here is that we not to pat ourselves on the back, but DSA-LA has been very successful in electing socialists to city council. So about a third of the LA City Council is DSA-LA socialist council members. And that is specifically something that Kristi Noem called out as something that she was going to, quote, liberate LA from the socialists. So unfortunately, we are just kind of in the firing line there for some fucking reason, per usual, because these people are insane fascists and, are trying to essentially eliminate the prospect of multicultural democracy in the United States and of home rule for liberal, in quotation marks, cities, which is a really fun topic to bring to the lighthearted comedy podcast on this wonderful Thursday.
Yeah. So there are many different threads here that do really all coalesce. As you say, right, there is the election of self-described socialists to LA Council. There's also, again, the fact that LA is so multiracial. There's also, I think, the fact that LA is so involved in cultural production, which is where so many of these people's hatrads are pointed.
It's also where Stephen Miller's from.
Yeah.
And
He is from Santa Monica,
like these people hate nothing more than their own hometowns a lot of the time. Like,
and so all of these things sort of have come together on Friday, June 6th, when people showed up to a protest after hearing that 200 people were being detained, including children, in a federal building. And they
just
were
in a basement, by the way, not a jail, not like anything purpose built to do that. They were just locking people in rooms.
Yeah. And again, it's one of these things where as we go through this, because we're also going to be talking about like the total collapse of like institutional forms of state power, right? Where anyone now can just be like, yeah, I'm a cop, whatever, bang, bang, you're dead.
Yeah.
It's like it's not that the previous people terrorize people less. It's not that jails are better than federal buildings. It's that these things are expansions of that power along sort of improvised lines.
Well, exactly. And I note, by the way, that was how the first concentration camp started. Like Dachau originally was just like a building that the SS took over, or the SA rather took over, and turned into a jail.
It's funny you bring that up because 30 minutes before this podcast recording started, and I'm looking at my phone getting updates about this, apparently ICE did a major raid on the Hollywood Home Depot against day laborers, imprisoned a bunch of people, like just kidnapped them, put them in vans, and took them to Dodger Stadium, which is extremely Pinochet military coup coded. So, but it's jarring, at least for me, because I was literally there last night at the Dodgers Padres game, boo Padres, and I wake up in the morning and suddenly it's like, oh, ICE has taken over the stadium and the parking lots and is using that as a staging ground to, quote, interrogate people that they have seized off the street before sending them to detention. So that's cool.
Because the kind of infrastructure doesn't exist to do mass deportations that Trump wants and has promised his supporters. You have to kind of build that. And ICE was always kind of premised on the idea that you could convince Americans that was kind of happening in a way that was broadly compliant with like the institutions and the norms or whatever. And you can't do that. And so you end up with these kind of improvised things that then lay the groundwork for like a new system that is much worse.
While this is happening in Los Angeles, different versions of it are happening around the country where, multiple Congress people, again, are getting refused entry into the office buildings where ICE is holding people, right? And they've sort of, I suppose, like some congressional Democrats have learned, at least you can make a scene, I suppose, or a Brad Lander, one of the other candidates for New York City mayor and sort of ally, sort of co-endorsee of Zoran, was recently being, arrested by unidentified men who are just like, we're ICE, we're arresting you for getting in the way of a deportation.
For the crime of asking them whether they had a warrant to arrest the guy they were arresting.
Which they probably did not.